What are we on, like show 95 now?
Yep.
Is this ever gonna end? Oh shoot!
There's a podcast called Between Two Slabs. They consume mass media. It seems so sad. It's the great curator and Merlin. They can't grow pubes, so they gotta wear a merkin. They got no money, so I guess they gotta share. Just two nerds wishing they could grow body hair. Comics, cards, and toys, nothing that would interest you. It's the podcast that nobody listens to.
Yeah.
Hopefully people don't see that first part.
No one listens to.
Right. All right. So another episode. We are back for another episode of Between Two Slabs, the best podcast that in the hobby that nobody listens to. Merlin, we got a lot to talk about today.
That's right. Rise and shine. We got a lot of news time tonight, so I can't wait to hear all about it. You gave me a quick list of what we got to talk about tonight, and boy, I cannot wait. These are some good topics, so make sure y'all stay tuned in to Between Two Slabs because we've got a lot to talk about, folks. A lot of good stuff, and maybe you all know more than we do, and you can chime in and give us even more information because that's what we love about our viewers. They know as much or maybe more than you and I, Dan.
There's a lot of hot topics going on in the hobby this past week, especially today. So we're going to be talking about all the news for you guys there. I'm probably going to go on like another 45-minute rant on a couple of these items. So before I get into that, Merlin, I will turn it over to you. Let's get the sponsorship ads out of the way since we are contractually obligated to do that. I'm going to turn that over to you this week.
Oh, my goodness.
Save my voice. Please tell us about our friends, Veriswap.
All right, everyone. Veriswap is an app you can download on your iPhone and I guess Droid or Google phone, whatever it is. Quick to create an account. Literally, it took me just less than 5 minutes to create an account and upload my photos of my graded card slabs and get ready to get traded. Veriswap is the middle guy. If you ever had someone reached out to you on eBay or Instagram and you didn't know who the hell they were and they wanted to make a trade, you're like, dude, I don't do trades. I don't even know who the hell you are. Well, this will solve all your answers and all your problems because what they do, they're the middle guy. You can do the trades or you can use cash trade and you send it to Veriswap. They almost like give you the authenticity, guarantee just like eBay does, and they send it to whoever it needs to go to. They make sure you get the right card and you get the right amount of money or the trade is void and they make sure you're refunded or whatever. It is safe. They make sure everything is safe, legal, and you are reassured you're going to get the cards that you want in this trade. It's that simple, guys. Check it out. Veriswap. It's on iPhone. And like you said, your Droid. Check them out on Instagram as well at Veriswap. Anything else, Dan?
And yes, as I was previewing for you guys last week, Veriswap has teamed up with me to do a very special giveaway promotion, okay? Because of my love of wrestling and my love of competition, I have convinced them to create a contest that is currently running. It started last week, and it's running until July 26th, which will accumulate at the National with them crowning a new Veriswap Grand Champion.
Lord have mercy.
Whopper. Look at this belt, guys. The champion is in the house. Yes.
That seems like authentic. Is it authentic?
It's a real belt. Real leather strap belt. Look at
heavy?
Look at this championship. Yes, I call this the 6 pounds of gold. That's what this is.
This isn't something you buy at Target for your 5-year-old kid. This is a real belt.
Money on this, guys. Real money on this. They got the little plates and everything here. Leather strap belt. You can hook it onto your waist and everything like that. I choose to wear it like this because it's so massive. But this is called the King Swapper title. The Grand Champion of Veriswap is what they call it. To win this belt, you must...
How do you become the King Swapper, Dan?
Two ways, okay? You must have the most trades on the platform during this contest period, right? So whoever gets the most trades is going to win one of these belts. And I confirmed yesterday that whoever has the highest dollar amount of trades together, cumulatively, right? All the trades together, the highest dollar amount for trades, I think, or is it the highest number of trades? I think it's the highest. I think it's the biggest trade value, total trade value. They will get a title also. That title is called something different. I don't have that title. I have the King Swapper title here. So this is going to be for whoever has the most trades on Veriswap during this time. It doesn't matter if it's a $10 trade or a $1,000 trade, whatever it is, guys. They're tracking all that. So this is their sweet little championship trophy that they're doing, and hopefully this takes off and this becomes maybe an annual thing, because I think that this is major bragging rights for whoever wins this title here. Very cool. If you see me do the post on Instagram where I'm walking out, I'm mimicking wrestlers' entrances and things like that.
Yeah,
I'm parodying it. Okay, this is what that title is about here. So Veriswap Grand Champion King Swapper title available up until July 26th. They will crown.
We have a month.
2 winners will get one of these belts each.
1 month, guys. Exactly a month.
Yes.
That's awesome. And I saw Dan, I think I saw you on Instagram posing with that belt and doing some kind of Razor Ramon skit.
That's right. I'll be doing more of that stuff. It's my dream. The part I love about wrestling the most are the entrances. So I just love to parody people's entrances. And I just did Razor Ramon yesterday. So that was a lot of fun. But if you guys want to win that belt, you got to sign up for a Veriswap account. So please use the link below in the show notes. If you don't have an account yet, use that link so that they can track it to our page and they can give us credit for that because they're one of our sponsors. And then start executing as many trades as you can, guys. Use the app. It's a great platform. It's a great service. And this is a really fun contest that they're doing. So have fun with it.
I think people are already into it because, man, I've gotten more trade offers this week than I have since I've set up the app. And it's been crazy. Like I'm getting like 2 or 3 a day. So I think people are on this. I think people are really in the competition here for that belt.
Yeah.
That's how much they want it.
I get people that try to trade me all the time. I haven't done my first trade yet because I'm very picky about what I do.
Exactly.
But I get trade alerts all the time, which is pretty cool, which shows me that they have a lot of activity on their website, which is
good.
Great. And here's a bonus, guys. They are looking for Pokemon traders. So if you have any Pokemon cards and you want to bring it to the site, I think they'll give you some preferential treatment or something like that. A couple free trades for the first couple transactions, something like that. I don't know. Message them, tell them that the great curator sent you, and I'm sure they'll hook you up with some type of deal.
Awesome.
Okay, so that's our first sponsor. Tell them very briefly about the Golden Hour episode tomorrow.
All right, guys, we have the Goldin Auctions Golden Hour presented by Between Two Slabs. It's the curator and Merlin. And we're going to be on same bat time, same bat channel. So tune in at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific time. And we're going to highlight some awesome Goldin auctions that have ended for this past week. And we're going to probably follow some that will end with, I think, Thursday, Dan? Too?
Yes, Thursday.
Yes. And then do we have any elite or anything big this week or not?
There's a big card that's going to end tomorrow.
Oh, hear that, guys?
It will be the Rock Black Prism 2023 version. This is second year Prism. Black 1 of 1. So the first Rock ended a couple months ago, $130,000. It rocked the rest of the world. I don't think this thing gets anywhere close, but it's already at $14,000. So if it goes over $20,000, I'll be pretty impressed.
Okay,
so
what's the over and under for right now?
I think it's going to be over 18,000 for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's at 14 now, you said.
Yes.
Okay, guys.
14, no buyer premium.
I think I predict over 25.
Oh, that's strong. That'd be a strong sale.
Yes.
I'd love to see it go for 100,000. We'll see, because that'd be just crazy news, right? So we'll be watching that tomorrow, and then I picked out 5 really great items to share with you guys tomorrow. If you remember, one of the items that I highlighted last week was the Frank Miller signed Dark Knight artist proof.
I remember that one.
1986. I actually won that. I won that.
Oh, rub it in, man. Rub it in. Yeah.
Because I found out that it's more rare than I even imagined.
Really?
Before. Yeah, and I was looking past sales and stuff like that.
Tell us how do you do your research when it comes to something like that?
I mean, like if it's on eBay, I use TerraPeak because that will go back, and then I'll just Google it. And if you just simply Google items, you'll see that they usually pop up from different auction sites and what they sold for. So the last sale on that was like 3-4 years ago. I think it sold for like $900 a few years ago because they're so rare. They don't pop up that often. So I'm hoping that this one will be in good condition. I got it for $300, which is a steal.
$300
for the artist proof. And I found out what artist proof really means. Okay. So
the poor soul who put that on auction. Sorry about that, guy.
I got a deal. Usually I would say on Goldin you get top dollar, right? But I'm just gonna be honest with people. The past few months they've had so many items on there that it is a buyer's market. You are getting
guys
items for steals right now. That Vader Superfractor that we highlighted last week went for like $3,800, I think, something like that.
Was it from Finest or just regular Chrome?
I think it was Legacy or something. I don't know.
Okay. It was the Darth Vader's chamber.
Yeah, but a Vader Superfractor, anything under like $5,000, it would be a great deal on that. So that went up for auction, but they just have so many items that I think people are just losing track of these things. And and you're able to get some real good steals on Goldin right now. So it is definitely a buyer's market on Goldin for the pop culture items. So I was happy to add that to my collection. I'm hoping that when it ships here, it'll be in good condition, and then I'll be able to do something really cool with it. But I found out what artist proof means.
Yes. So, what does it mean?
So when an artist is commissioned to do something, a piece of art, and they make prints for that, they'll make like a limited edition print, like 100 prints or something like that. I found out that the artist has the right to reserve like at least 10% of those prints. And they call that the artist proofs, and they're not numbered. They're the same. They're almost the same thing, but they're not numbered, and they're recognized as an artist print. So they're just like a more rare version of it, basically, because of the numbering that they put on it. But that's what they do, and then they either sell that themselves or they give it away to friends, family, things like that. So the artist proofs are a little bit more desirable just because of the way that they numbered it. Makes it more scarce among the circulated retail version of it. Yes. So now that I know that, I've been looking for like artist proof things. If I find like a numbered edition of something, I'm looking for the artist proof version of it.
Gotcha.
That's what this is. So that was really cool. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way here, let's talk about some of the news.
Let's do it, baby.
Okay, first thing that we got to talk about is this article on ESPN. I don't think that you heard about this, right?
No, this is regarding the breakers.
Yes.
Is this good or bad, man? Or both?
We're gonna debate both sides of it.
Okay.
Right. So to give you guys some context, ESPN, like the sports channel ESPN,
they did a feature article on it.
Full featured article. It is long. It's not like
like
paragraphs. It's like a full on article that they did on this on their website about breaking. I forget what it's called, but basically they did not paint a very favorable light about breaking, the way that I read it, basically. So they basically highlighted this breaker. His name's Layden Sports Breaks or something like that. He's out of Florida. I've met him before.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I don't do business with him or anything like that, but I've met him before. He's one of the biggest breakers in the hobby. So they highlighted him specifically, and they basically try to paint a word picture about what breaking is. So if you've never seen breaking, if you've never participated in it, you're reading this article and they're trying to describe what it is. And basically they make it look like it's a big spectacle. People are opening packs and going crazy, and they're charging a premium to open these packs. They buy a box for $1,000. They break it up into 30 slots, and they make $1,500 on it. And they kind of create this narrative of breaking in in like a gambling light, basically, right? So I personally, when I read it, I don't think that it's very favorable. And if I was that guy Layden, I probably wouldn't want them calling me out as the face of breaking. But it's also good PR for him, I guess, because it gets his name out there. But they make it seem, like it's not the best part of the hobby, essentially. Okay, so that was on ESPN, and people are reacting to it, and people are calling for like, regulation of breaking and trying to do things to kind of turn away it being the face of the hobby. And I thought that was very interesting because Fanatics and Fanatics has made a big push into breaking. They're basically putting breaking as the face of the hobby right now.
Really?
Yes, because they're making people sign up for accounts. They're opening their own channels. They're investing and they're partnering with breakers and things like that. So definitely.
But are they hiring breakers or are they just collaborate? Okay.
Yeah, wow. They're doing all sorts of stuff. They're making it the main thing right now. And they've even said, I think I heard in an article that they said that they believe that breaking is the part of the hobby that's going to grow the most, basically, where they see the most growth opportunity on the breaking business of the hobby, right? So that article went out, right? And my thoughts are it's not a great light to paint for the hobby in terms of what breaking is. I understand. I'll give my personal point of view. I understand that breaking is like one of the most widely used services in the hobby. Everybody breaks, right? So I do recognize that it is a big part of the hobby. I do recognize that it is kind of almost essential for the hobby because you need to rip product. And these breakers are ripping so much of this product every day that they're the ones that are circulating the cards through the ecosystem of the hobby. They're the ones that are finding these rare chase cards and making content about it and get people excited. They're getting people to spend money in the hobby by buying into breaks and things like that. And they're probably introducing a lot of people to the hobby through breaking that want to spend like $20 or whatever on a break spot. So I do recognize that, but I've never really, to be honest, I've never really been a big fan of breaking myself, even though I have friends who break a lot. Apps,
yeah, we have a few.
Apps is a great friend of the channel here, and he's one of the biggest breakers in the hobby. Brian, Sunday League Investor, a friend of ours who we do shows with, he's got a whole breaking channel now. So we are friends.
Big rings.
Yeah,
Kelly.
Big rings, Kelly. He's got the longest breaking streak in the hobby, I think, over like 1,000 days. He's the Roman Reigns of breaking. So, we know a lot of breakers, so I can respect them as entrepreneurs, business owners. But personally, I've never really liked breaking. The only time I ever participated in a break was WWE Immaculate. I bought 2 spots.
Oh, you did? Oh, I didn't know this.
I bought 2 spots on eBay for like $250, and I didn't get anything. And I was like, what? This is what breaking is? I'm out.
Like nothing at all. Like nothing. No card.
No, they didn't pull my cards. I bought the Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley spots. They didn't pull one card out of the entire case. I'm out $250.
Wait a minute. Out of the entire case?
The entire case. I didn't get one card. I thought I would get a base card at least, right? I didn't get anything.
Oh, that's insane.
That was my first time ever breaking, and I thought I was like, wow, this sucks. I'm never doing it again.
That's like playing slots in Vegas. It just get in like 5 minutes.
That's what it felt like. And that is the heart of the.
Did you feel dirty?
No, I just felt like it was a waste. I felt like it was a slot machine. I put $250 in a slot machine, pulled it, nothing happened. Or I played blackjack, $250, and I didn't get it, and I'm out. And that is the heart of the argument here, or the debate, is breaking a form of gambling, and should there be some type of oversight or regulations that are applied to the breaking hobby? So that is what is really interesting about that article that ESPN wrote. And there's different opinions. Some people like it, some people don't, but it's causing a lot of controversy and a lot of debate in the hobby right now. I've already kind of given my personal opinion that I I personally don't like it. And I don't think that it's a great practice for the hobby, to be honest, in terms of it being so prominent
Right.
in the front of the hobby, right? Where everybody talks about breaking every day. But when I look at breaking, I think the part that of breaking that bothers me the most, not the fact that they charge a premium. I have no problem with services that are charging a premium, or businesses that charge a premium. Let me say this again, because I'm going to clip this later. Let me say this. I have no problem with businesses that provide a service and charge a premium for that service. So if they buy a box for $1,000 and they rip it for you, they ship it for you, and they acquire all that stuff for you, plus all the materials, and they charge you a premium on top of that, I got no problem with that, right? I got no problem with people grouping their money together to buy into a product that they otherwise wouldn't buy it. $1,000 box, they buy a spot for like $50. They don't have to spend $1,000. They spend $50, and maybe they get the card that they want. If they don't get the card that they want, then they're out $50. Okay, I got no problem with that.
Right.
I think what my issue with breaking is that it's too frequent. It seems like it goes on 24 hours a day. Every day that I'm on Instagram or TikTok or even YouTube, I'm seeing breaking happen.
Yeah,
like every day.
Getting notifications all the time by the same people.
8 o'clock in the morning, 2 a.m. at night.
Yeah, 2 a.m., 4 a.m.
It's constant all the time, and it's everybody. It's like there's so many people that break all the time and have breaking channels, and it just seems excessive to me. You know what I mean? Like, I think to myself, how are these people acquiring so much product? How are these people selling so many spots? Who's buying into this stuff, right? And to me, that seems like an environment for that's very similar to the casinos, right? If you go to a casino, if you go to Las Vegas, and if you walk into the casino any time of the day, you see people in there gambling, playing the slot machine. It could be 3 a.m. It could be 6 a.m. It could be on a Monday, a Sunday, Friday night, whatever it is. They're open 24/7. So that's kind of like how I interpret that. And it's not something that I care for that much. You know what I mean? But I think that it does have value too. But I just think that it's to be the face of the hobby the way it is right now. It's not the best thing that we have to show off, really. You know, in the hobby, we have a lot of great things to show off, to entice people to come and learn about the hobby and join the hobby and things like that. A lot of things that can get widespread news attention and things like that. I don't think that breaking needs to be the forefront of that. It could be part of it. I've got no problem with being part of it, just like gambling is a part of, our lives or the economy. I've got no problem with that, but I just don't think that they should be the face of the hobby, which is what I think that article is trying to say, is that we've made, over the last year, it seems like we've made breaking the main thing of the hobby. Even Fanatics has been pushing a lot of breaking content to the forefront of the hobby. And I think they do it in a way because they think that's a good way to get people in. And I will say that by making people register, with tops to do breaking, I think that they are trying to formalize the process a little bit more. So there's not so many people out there, because it's very segmented right now, or fragmented, whatever the word is. But, I think that we just have to be a little bit mindful about this, because it can get out of hand real quick. And if it gets out of hand too much, where something really bad happens, then I think that will create a lot of unintended consequences for the hobby and a lot of unwanted attention. What do you think?
Most definitely. It can get a little out of hand. It's not like, again, I don't want to get myself involved in breaking. Of course, I've done it with people just to show my support, and I've actually gotten lucky each time I've done it, but it's something I don't want to make it a habit of, because you can definitely get into the gutter and lose all your money. And I'd rather, like you said, spend that $250 that you put into that immaculate break and just go ahead and buy the Rhea Ripley auto.
Mm-hmm.
With that money, you just flush down the toilet, Dan.
Right.
So, I mean, I think I'd be worried about kids involved in it, even teenagers, young adults.
Yeah, that's definitely a concern too. If kids are getting involved in breaks and things like that, which I'm sure they do. I'm sure there's kids that buy into breaks somehow.
Yeah,
you know
of course.
So it needs to be thought out a little bit more. I think there needs to be a standard of practice that people hold themselves accountable to. I don't think that needs to be regulation or anything like that, but I just think that we as a collective need to kind of set some standards to have people follow, and then maybe that will help focus the breaking industry a little bit more, I guess is the right word to use there. I don't know. People have asked me to break a lot. People have asked me to start breaking.
I can see that.
I'll never do it. The only breaking I do is for myself, my personal breaks.
Yes,
right?
Yes, you do.
Or if somebody buys a box from me, I'll open it on my channel and ship it to them. But I'll never like sell break spots because I don't like that business model. I don't like that concept, and it's just too weird.
In reality, it's just Dan. It would just burn him if someone got a card that he really wanted.
I'd be pissed,
and he has to give it. He has to mail it out.
Yeah. So and then next thing you know, I'm like all over Instagram. The great curator stole the downtown.
My gosh, people have a field day with you. They accuse you so many things.
Right. So yeah, I'll never do that myself. But I don't know. I'm not opposed to it. I'm not opposed to breaking, but I just think that it's a little bit too much right now. Okay, a little bit too much.
Well, what does Jeff Wilson have to say about all this like regulation and stuff? I know he's been talking about regulations.
Well, he made an interesting post yesterday.
He did
about the state of the hobby and whether it should be regulated or not. And I commented on, or somebody commented, and they mentioned me in that, saying that, they were talking shit about me, so I had to go at this dude hard, and I roasted him all day long. It's very rare that I respond to people's comments when they call me out for whatever. People
what happened?
Call me out. They try to tag me on Instagram and say something stupid to try to get something out of me, and most of the time I ignore it. But sometimes, okay, if I'm feeling spicy, then I will go back at them. And this guy got more than he bargained for, because when he called me out, I went at him all day, like literally all day. The thread of comments is like 50 comments long. I was
what,
dude, all day long.
This was yesterday,
making him sound so stupid in the comment section, and finally he just gave up at the end and said,
what happened? Can you tell us
it's too long
a short story about it?
Basically, just it's the same old shit that everybody's saying. He's saying like, you pump your own cards, and then I have to school him and tell him that he's just a mindless drone. He watches some other person's content and let them form opinion. He's basically like a puppet, and they're controlling him. So I had to school him all day long, and every time he wrote a comment, I responded right away to get him back. And finally, he gave up at the end. But anyways, the point of the whole thing there was Jeff Wilson saying, should the hobby be regulated? Right? Mm-hmm. Should there be some type of oversight in the hobby? And I think my opinion on this is basically, if we're talking about the hobby in general, no, we don't want regulation. We don't want anybody telling us what to do with our stuff, right? If we're a small business or an entrepreneur, we're buying, selling, we don't want an oversight committee or any governing body to try to regulate us in any way, right? Aside from the IRS telling us that we have to pay taxes on our transactions, right?
Right.
We don't want anybody telling us what to do. Big businesses like Fanatics, Topps, Panini, they're big corporations. Okay, yes, you want to regulate them to an extent, fine, because they basically control the markets and things like that. Right? The same way you would regulate any big business in any industry. But individuals, no, we don't want people telling us what to do, because that's when it gets really, really crazy. And we don't need that type of I was going to say influence, but we already have influence. We don't need that type of, we don't need that type of oversight in the hobby. I think what we do need, though, is we need to have a standard of conduct. And this is something that I've talked about all the way in my beginning videos. When I first started making videos, I talked about a high standard of conduct, a gentleman investor code. You guys remember that?
I do. I remember that.
When I would talk about being a gentleman investor, okay, I was talking about creating a high standard of conduct that we hold ourselves accountable to, okay, as a community, as a hobby, and we make people follow that if they want to participate in the hobby, right? Just like let's just say if there was like, this is a very basic example, but if there was like a country club or something like that, where people were members and they were going into the country club, they couldn't go in there and throw parties all the time and make a big ruckus and be rude to people. They would get kicked out, right? There's a standard of conduct that people have to follow, whether those are written rules or unwritten rules. That people understand that if you're going to participate in this activity, you have to act a certain way, right? Just like when you go to I remember I was watching this like horse racing event, Kentucky Derby or something like that, and it was a TV show where it was a gas monkey TV show. You ever watch that show?
What's it called?
Gas Monkey.
Gas Monkey? What's this on?
It's
I don't know it.
Discovery Channel. It was like a car show, basically. This guy would build races.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, he went to the Kentucky Derby and he sponsored a horse to promote his business. And his stick, his gimmick is like he's wild man, right? He goes, woo! He drinks beer and stuff like that. That's his gimmick.
He drinks beer.
Yeah. And he's at the Kentucky Derby, and they're walking these horses, and he's around all these rich people,
drunk,
right? all these Kentucky Derby racers. And
all these bougie Southern people.
Yes, and then his horse comes by, and he's like, "Whoa, yeah, let's go!" And everybody looks at him. They're like, "No, you can't do that."
Oh my gosh!
Right? You don't scream like that at this. There's a level.
Yeah, people have those big old hats on and everything, and it looks like
there's a level of decorum that you have to follow. And he's like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't know." Right? That's the standard of conduct. In golf, when the golfers are swinging,
swing.
You don't have hecklers yelling at them and screaming like you would at an NFL game, right?
No,
because the standard of conduct for golf is such where people know they're not supposed to do that. And I think that we have to have something like that in the hobby where, people know that if they come into the hobby, there's certain things you can't do. You're not supposed to trim cards. You're not supposed to, this goes without saying, but you're not supposed to steal. You're not supposed to scam people. You're not supposed to, lie about or misrepresent cards. You're not supposed to do, you're not supposed to be rude. A whole bunch of stuff, right? We should have a standard of conduct where people know if they come in here, they have to act that way. If they don't act that way, people aren't going to do business with them, and it's not going to be fun, and they're going to get kicked out. They're not going to be invited to events, things like that. If you act a certain way, you shouldn't be invited to card shows or trade nights or even card shops or certain things like that. And I think that that's probably the best way to police the hobby rather than having some governing board, set arbitrary rules and apply them to us in a subjective manner or anything like that. We don't need that. Okay. Because the hobby's too segmented. The big businesses, yes. I think like Panini, Fanatics, Topps, PSA, the really big businesses that are the foundation of the hobby, yes, they should be regulated just like any big business in any industry. But individual businesses, small entrepreneurs, individuals like me and you, or people that we see every day, that definitely there should, I don't think that we need to try to regulate them or anything like that. And, Jeff Wilson in his post, he gave several examples, and he was just posing a hypothetical. He wasn't saying that they should be regulated. He was just saying he was posing hypotheticals, right? And some of those hypotheticals were really crazy. Like he was saying, should influencers be cut off social media? Should breakers be shut down if they do certain things? things like that, right? And I just think that's too much. We don't want to go down that road. This is my personal opinion about it. But I don't know. What are your thoughts?
That's a little I mean, there should, be regulation on what. I have no clue, really. I mean, that's a little harsh, extreme. But like you said, Jeff's throwing hypotheticals out. It's just here and there to make discussion, to make talk. But somewhere down the road, you need it. It can get out of hand. I see things getting out of hand every now and then. Even back, I remember, was it 2019 when I went to the first Chicago National, and I was like, God, there is so much money being dealt here. I meant, where's this money coming from? How much of this is bad money? Everything like that. I mean, you don't know. You just don't. When there's a lot of money involved, there is some bad influencers going to be involved because they see opportunities, and they'll do everything you can to make opportunity.
And I think
they'll
that's
ruin the hobby if you don't watch out.
That's what they're saying, that those people should be regulated. But those people are bad actors, and bad actors, it doesn't matter if you impose rules to try to regulate them, they're going to break the rules. It's just like criminals, right? Criminals break laws. They don't care. Laws are meant to keep good people like us, law-abiding citizens, in line. That's what these laws are for. So if we have laws or rules in the hobby, it's only going to affect people like us, but it's not going to affect the bad actors. So the way that we counter that is that we have high standards of conduct where bad actors cannot meet those standards, where it's very easy to kind of see them stand out from the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And that something's up with them. So then we can kind of like identify them and not do business with them and let everybody know. Well,
social media has been pretty good at doing that.
Yeah. So I think that would be my opinion on how to kind of address some of those concerns. But I definitely don't think we need regulations aside from the big businesses. The only regulations I can see would be like if I'll use an example, Magic the Gathering, they have that one of one Lord of the Rings card out there right now.
That's a new card, right?
Yes, that everybody's
Magic the Gathering.
There's $1 million bounty on that.
Where is that? Does that come out of the Magic Gathering packs, or is that a special pack, or what?
Well, they're saying it's from the booster pack.
Okay.
But there could be rules saying that like an employee can't get that, right? Nobody could backdoor that card, or
that would look really bad if an employee got it.
That card has to be, inserted, based on a certain number of pack odds or something like that, right? So I could see regulation around that. I could see regulation on, you're only allowed to mark up a product a certain amount, based on whatever pricing tools that you have, so that way people aren't price gouging on certain items. So I could see things like that, but other than that, we don't need it on a low level. We don't need it on an individual level, just on a big corporate business level is what I would say. Okay, let's see. We're
gonna have Dan. When is how much time we have left for the national?
Well, the national is like 1 month away, 30 days, right?
Jeez, already.
Right.
Yes, we'll be flying out of here like this time next month.
Let's see here. I pull it up on my calendar. It is the 25th is when we'll be there. So we got like 30 days basically for the national.
Boy.
But one thing before, let me just finish up my point about that.
Okay? Sorry about that. Jumped ahead.
About a standard of conduct. I don't think that we need necessarily. I already made my opinion clear. We don't need regulation in the hobby. We don't need regulation in the hobby. If anything, we need a standard of conduct that we all follow. But one thing that I would agree on is that we need to formalize things in the hobby. We need to have more of a structure in place on how we do business in the hobby, how we transact, so that if there is problems that come up, bad deals and things like that, there's a standard of practice that we can follow to remedy those issues. And I think one way to do that would be basically for, I don't know if I want to give this idea away. Basically, you know, like have paperwork for the deals that we do. You know, if you're going to do $100,000 deal, you should have a contract that will outline the terms of that deal so that both sides know what they're getting into. Both sides have negotiated the terms, how much it is, what cards are there. And if a card turns out to be fake, you know, you have a remedy to get your money back. If one person, you know, exchanges money and then they try to claw that money back somehow by filing a fraud claim or something like that, you have a remedy, you have something like that. So I think that in that regard, the hobby could use a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking at? It could be formalized a little bit more. And that might be a step in the right direction in terms of resolving a lot of these issues that are out there. You know, in every other case, in every other industry, there's a formalized process of doing things. It's not all handshake deals, but in the hobby, it's still very much handshake deals. And I think that's where a lot of problems kind of come up, and a lot of people get scammed easily because there's no consequence to when a deal doesn't go as planned, you know?
Right. So the question is then, someone like Logan Paul, when he bought that Pokemon case full of G.I. Joe, was there a lot of paperwork involved with it?
I don't think there was, you know?
Oh, really?
But,
you don't think there was at all? It was just a verbal agreement.
Yeah, but he got his money back because that dealer, his name was Shine. That dealer refunded him. I think that's what happened. He refunded him because he had a reputation to protect. But then he went back to the guys that sold it to him, which was, I forget, that some guy named Jake, like Pokey Jew, or no, not Pokey Jew. I forget his name. Somebody, right? Somebody, I forget his name. If anybody knows his name, let us know. Like Pokey Hulu guy or something like that. I don't know. Pokemon Hulu.
Hulu Sports.
I think his name is Jacob. Anyways, he went back to that guy, tried to get his money back, and that guy said no, right? And now they're trying to sue each other, but they have no. I don't know if they have.
That's still going on.
I think so. Unfortunately, and that's just the way it is, right? But if you had a formalized contract for a deal that size, then you would have some remedies to go to person in the court, and then you can get something to happen, right? Versus a he said, she said type deal. So, you know, I just think for big deals like that, it makes sense. For little deals, no, you're not going to do that, right?
No, it's just too much work.
We need to have more of a formalized process just to kind of protect people in the hobby from things like that, okay? And this can apply in several different aspects of the hobby, not just like one-on-one transactions. But I actually have an idea. I'll just briefly tell you about the idea.
Okay.
That I might be trying to partner with somebody to form a business that provides these type of services, because I think that it's needed in the hobby. So it's just a project that I'm working on the side. Once I get closer to it, then I will announce it, and then we'll see how that does. Okay. But let's transition to your last question here about the National, right?
It's 1 month away.
Yeah. So the National, man, how do you feel about that?
I can't believe it's already here. I feel like we just, found out we were going to go again like a year or a month ago.
We're in the home stretch right now. So it's time to get the inventory ready, to get it priced, to figure out the logistics of how to get there, and just prepare myself mentally, because it's going to be nonstop card for 5 days, basically, from like Tuesday.
Oh, more than 5 days. My goodness. It's like 6 or 7 days.
Nonstop, but I'm super excited about that. I've got a lot of great stuff that I'm going to be debuting there. I've got some exclusive items. We're going to be doing content with Goldin. We'll be going to people's trade nights and things like that. Hopefully we can do some great deals and things like that. But I'm super excited for it, and I can't wait, because this is going to be like, last year was our first year setting up at the National.
But having your first time doing the National at Atlantic City was pretty rough.
Yes. So this time we're not rookies.
Back to Chicago, baby.
We're not noobs anymore. We know the area. We know we've been there a couple times already.
Yep.
So we should be a little bit more prepared for it. Hopefully, I don't know what's going to happen. My goals. Let's share our goals real quick. My goals for the national is I want to sell as much inventory as I can so that I could go buy more. I want to buy really awesome, unique items to add to my collection. I want to get rid of all the stuff that I'm tired of looking at, and I want to go buy some really rare one-of-one type items. I'm hoping people will bring me something crazy.
That's what you'll be looking for. Hope that will come to your table.
Yes, and I'm hoping to meet a lot of people that I interact with online, and I'm hoping to see something crazy happen. Like either see really, really unique items or see a big deal go down or something like that. But that's my main goal, basically. Shift out of my old inventory and try to pick up some really unique stuff for the collection. What about you?
Definitely just have a good time, enjoy myself, sell the cards that I've been investing in all this year, and hopefully success, and people like our inventory this year. It's always scary. You get nervous about it. Just like when you step out, when I was a wrestler, or to a ball game, you step out there and you get a little nervous and everything. Your adrenaline's pumping, and you just hope, or if you're an actor, you want to make sure you act and don't forget your lines. You hope you sell and don't fall flat on your face, man.
Yeah.
We always do all right,
Hopefully we'll do all right. If you guys are going to the national, please come see us. It's going to be a great time. We're going to have a lot of fun. I'm just excited to be in that environment and see all sorts of crazy things. This year at the national, I really want to make time to walk around and see what people are bringing.
Right.
And I don't think
it's going to be even bigger this time, Dan.
Bigger than last year? That'd be crazy.
Yeah, well, it's bigger than the last time we were in Chicago because they're opening up that whole other area.
Yeah. So I'm hoping to see some really unique items there. Okay. So speaking of that, I want to we'll segue into my next topic here, which is something I talked about yesterday.
Not yesterday, but
last week. Which
yes,
I told you that I'm reading that book, Blue Ocean Strategy, right?
Yeah, how's that going?
It's a weird book. It's very what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a step-by-step guide on how to apply this formula. It's very mathematical, basically. So it's a dry read, but I'm pulling little nuggets of information out from it. And mainly when I'm reading this, it's kind of like I'm applying the lessons to the hobby, and I'm already thinking to myself, man, I'm already doing this. I'm already ahead of the game, in terms of this strategy.
Give us some excerpts, give us some examples.
One interesting thing here is basically there. I've already explained you to the concept of the red ocean and the blue ocean. Red ocean is mainstream activity. That's what everybody's doing. Blue ocean are for people who find niche markets that have no competition, and then they do a unique service, right? Or they do something. So with us, we shifted from sports cards into pop culture cards. We don't compete with all the sports card guys, but we still go to sports card shows. That's the thing, right? We're not going to Comic Cons and setting up. We're still at sports card shows.
Why the hell were you doing that, Dan? Why are we doing that?
Because then we'll be in the red ocean again.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So we're at sports card shows selling pop culture items, right? And here's a part of the book that I thought was interesting. So they said that when you go into the blue ocean and you start off with a unique service or product, most people would make the mistake of trying to market to the same people, to market against other people that are like their competitors. Try to steal customers away from their competitors or the closest thing they have to competitors and things like that. But part of this book says that what you have to do is you have to kind of look further beyond the immediate pool of customers that you can acquire. Look beyond that and try to create a new pool of customers to acquire, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in some regards, it's like, hey, we're not going to try to sell our cards to the people that are buying all basketball, football, baseball cards, right? That's a pool of customers already. We don't need to tap into that. What we need to do is create a new pool of customers. And I think that we've already done that, Merlin, because when I read that, the way I interpreted it is you build your own community of followers. You build your own community of customers, right? So, and these customers can come from everywhere. They can come from comic book collectors, Pokemon collectors, toy collectors, sports card collectors, music collectors, and they can all come to our community that we're building up. And I think that's what we're doing, because I was thinking to myself, like, I don't know how you feel, but you know, do we fit in with the comic book crowd? No.
No.
Do we fit in with the toy crowd? No.
No.
Do we fit in with the Pokemon crowd? No.
No.
Do we fit in with the wrestling crowd? No. I don't.
No, not really. We tried.
Yeah. Do we fit in with the sports card crowd? No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily. No.
Like we're like outsiders. We have our
we're the Joker.
We have our hands in all these different categories, but we're not necessarily part of those communities. We're not on the message boards. We're not part of the Facebook groups or anything like that. We're friendly with people. We can come in and out, but we're not the leaders in any of those groups. We've kind of created our own category of pop culture cards, and people look to us with questions or to acquire items from us, because they know that we created this little group. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I'm still trying to work my way through it, but when I was reading through that chapter, I was like, wait a second, I think that we're already doing that. You know, we created our own market. We created our own community of customers. Even with this podcast right now, we have, you know, a community of 30, 40 people every week that watch us and they listen to us, and they come from all different spots. You know, I know guys here that are comic book collectors and Pokemon collectors and wrestling collectors,
sports, vintage
baseball collectors, all sorts of different people from different communities, but they all come to our channel to watch us, and they're part of our community now, right? So right. I think that's a cool little lesson that we're already doing. And if anything that I'm reading through this book, I feel like if anything, it's already validating. It's not really teaching me anything new, but it's just validating everything that we've been doing the past year. You know what I mean?
No, that's funny that there's some kind of connection of what you and I are doing then.
Yeah, we're
that's within a book.
We're trailblazers, you know what I mean? So it's interesting. I think and I think that's what makes us unique, is that we can travel from community to community. You know, we're not going to be like the leaders or the prominent members of those communities, but we can travel in and out of all these shows, all these different market areas, these different communities, talk to different people, and we still come back to our own community and share this information with everybody. Yeah,
it's crazy. And especially the past like 2 years, how we've got all the sports people into non-sports as well.
Yeah.
And now you see almost everyone, you know, at their cases have some sort of non-sports cards in their cases now.
Yeah, we have definitely had an effect on people. Call it an influence, if you will. But we have definitely caused people to do things differently in the market. And I think it's interesting because I'll use Star Wars as an example, right?
It's a perfect one.
There are some Star Wars collectors that have been collecting since the early 90s, since 1977. I know Star Wars collectors that have been collecting since the 70s, right? Or the 90s. And they have every set, and they have a vast amount of knowledge that you know, eclipses anything that me and you have, right?
Oh gosh, most certainly.
But they're very knowledgeable within their own community, but that knowledge doesn't get translated to other people outside of those communities. You know what I mean? And that's why me and you play a very important role in this, because we're able to go in that community, get some of that knowledge, bring it out, and share it with other people outside the community. And that's why people come to us and they ask us questions about like Star Wars cards, thinking that we're the experts or we have all the knowledge, when really we don't, right? But we're able to share with them things that maybe they can't learn themselves because they can't get into those communities, right? That's something that a lot of people don't understand, is like a lot of these communities are close-knit communities, or they're not necessarily easy to get into and learn, right? So people look to us as like a bridge to get into those different markets, you know? Same thing can be said about wrestling, Marvel cards, Disney cards,
celebrity cards,
music, celebrity, everything. We have we have our hands in pretty much all the pop culture spaces to some extent, and we're able to be the bridge for a lot of people, and I think that's pretty cool. Because I get questions all the time. Like people ask me some really detailed questions about Star Wars cards or other things like that, and I'm like, dude, I have no idea. Okay, I don't know.
We all get, you and I get put on the spot all the time.
I don't know, but I know this guy who might know, and I'll connect them, or I'll ask that guy, and then I'll give the information. I'll pass along, right? So we're kind of like the bridge. We're the bridge.
If I don't know, I just send them to Dan.
Yeah,
like I don't know, go to Dan, and Dan's like, I don't know either.
And we operate within the sports card landscape because that's where we came from. But really, we're already outside of it, and we've created our own niche market for that. So I think that's pretty cool. And I think the next thing that we're going to start doing is we've already done it with WrestleCon, but I think that we're going to start going into these communities, these shows that they have, and start setting up. You know, we already did it with WrestleCon. True. I think we're going to do it with CollectorCon sometime this year, and I think that we're going to go to some type of Comic-Con and set up at some point, and bring our way of doing business, our way of collecting, bring it into these communities, share it with them in a way that they've never seen it before. And I think that would be really cool.
I love it, man. Yeah, because we are always, our hobby and our store or whatever the hell you call it, our company, our brand, it's always evolving. And that's what I like about it. Because we don't know what we're going to have 6 months from now or a year from now or what's going to be hot. Because it's always changing, and it's pretty fascinating how it's really evolved since you and I got back into it a few years ago.
Right. Because we come from the sports card world, where everything's about grading, flipping, comps, you know, numbered parallels. That's our world that we come from. So we came out of there, and then we're going into these other worlds, Star Wars, wrestling, Marvel, music, whatever, and we're applying those strategies to these new markets, and they're not necessarily adopted to those practices yet, right? But we're kind of introducing it to them, and some people like it, some people don't. But I think it's very interesting, and I think that these markets can learn a lot from each other in how they grow, grow the value of their collectibles, grow how they do business, grow how they collect things and things like that. One big example of that is when we went to the Star Wars celebration, and we saw at the Star Wars celebration, they had every form of collectible that you can think of. Cards were only a small, like 1% representation of the type of collectibles that they had at the Star Wars celebration, which I was in shock that they had that, right?
And how many were slab that you saw there?
None. No cards were slab. They were all in like cheap ass 90s.
It was like 1990 all over again.
Yeah, right. They were just really way behind in how people collect cards. So I think that if we go into shows like that, and that's our blue ocean essentially. We'll go in there go into those shows. We're not selling loose cards like them. We're selling graded, high-end, numbered cards, things that they've never seen before, and you know, we'll expose that to that crowd, that community, and we'll see if they like it or not. And some people will like it, some people won't, you know, whatever. But we're bringing that strategy into those new markets, and I think that that's going to be our next blue ocean that we get into.
Man, definitely. I wish you had bought those one sheets we saw of the Star Wars Galaxy from '93 that we. I should have bought them too. I regret it.
Yeah, you know, that would have been cool to have. Would have been cool to have.
Knowing that those cards were going to be in Series 2, a lot of them.
I know. The thing about those sets, the cards are so random that it doesn't display well for me. That's why I didn't get it.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't look like they all go together. So anyways. Okay, so with that, let me see here. Anything else?
We have one more. You were going to talk about this. You told me about some about a cage lawyer or something.
Oh yes. Okay. So this will be my last topic. I wrap it up, and then we'll go to comments for you guys here. I'll try to keep this short. If you guys have any comments that you want us to highlight right away, please purchase a super chat sticker, and then we'll know, and then we can address your comment right away. But here we go. So there's this guy on Instagram. He goes by Cage Lawyer. very popular guy, has a podcast, good following. And he had this very interesting post earlier this week where he's talking about gotcha content. That's his words, gotcha content. And he was saying like all these people that are like quote unquote hobby watchdogs, and they'll make gotcha content when they try to call people out and say gotcha, and they tell them why they're wrong and why they're horrible for the hobby. And he was trying to make an argument saying like, there's a place for watchdogs, yes, but if there's too much of this gotcha content on the internet, is it welcoming for people that are trying to come into the hobby who are seeing that when they type up something like on YouTube, right? How to collect or what to do to collect cards or how to grade cards or whatever, and they see a bunch of content like what he calls gotcha content of people just talking negatively about other people and things like that. Is that welcoming for people? Like when they watch that, do they think to themselves, okay, I need to watch out for this. Let me continue down this path of learning how to be in the hobby. Or do people watch that and be like, whoa, this is what it's about? You know what? I'm going to stay away. I don't need to be part of this negativity.
No, I don't like it either.
So I thought that was a really interesting point because I don't know if I ever thought about it that way. I always thought that type of content, gotcha content. I like that word that he uses, gotcha content. I always thought it was just like trash. It's people trying to get views, and they're using it as clickbait and things like that. And I just think that it brings down morale in the hobby. I always looked at it through the lens of it bringing down morale within the hobby, of people that are already in the hobby. They watch that stuff and then they feel bad about it, or they get angry, and then they don't enjoy the hobby the way it's supposed to be enjoyed. Instead, they try to like create these false grievances in people's minds, and then those people attack each other, and it causes a lot of divisiveness within the hobby. I've always looked at it that way. I've never thought about it on the outside. If you're on the outside of the hobby looking in, you see this gotcha content all over YouTube, all over Instagram, and on TikTok and everything like that. Do you feel like, do you want to participate in the hobby, or do you just think it's a scam, it's ridiculous, it's childish, and you don't want to participate, right? I've never thought about it that way, but it makes perfect sense. If I was on the outside looking in and I saw all this stuff, I wouldn't want to be a part of it. You know what I mean? And I'll give you an example of like when I look at luxury watches, for example.
It's what? What was it again?
Luxury watches.
Luxury watches. Okay.
So the luxury watch market, people who buy like Rolexes and stuff, Rolexes, what are the other ones? AP and Patek Philippe and things like that, right? Luxury watch brands. It mirrors the card hobby a lot in terms of people using comparable sales, people flipping, people doing all this stuff. But there's a lot of crazy shenanigans that go into the watch market where people sell a lot of fakes. People try to misrepresent what the watch is, whether it's all original or whether it's been factory refurbished, or whether it's stolen, counterfeit papers that go with it, all this stuff, right? So when I'm on the outside looking in, because I want to get into it, but I'm looking at it, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to get into that. I don't want to deal with a fake watch. I don't want to deal with a guy who tries to hustle me on a deal. I don't want to deal with a refurbished, not all original watch, right? So I'm on the outside looking in, and I see this content, and I don't want any part of it. So that's what it must be like for people in the hobby right now. If you're new to it and you're trying to learn, and you see all this gotcha content on YouTube, it turns people away. It's a turnoff. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So I think he made a really great point about that. And let me clarify that we're not talking about the real watchdogs. We're not talking about people that call out real scandals in the hobby. I think that there is.
It's just like content makers.
The lower end content makers that basically try to call out individuals based on their own opinion, right? That kind of stuff is like gotcha content. I'm a target of it. I'm a target of a lot of that stuff. A lot of those idiots that target me for all that stuff, that's gotcha content, right? But
yes.
like the guy that was what's it called? The guy that was trimming cards. Okay, you want to call him out for trimming cards and then sending it in for grading? Yes, that's what a watchdog is for. the guy that was selling fake Michael Jordan rookies and got caught.
Oh yeah.
You want to call that guy out? You want to be a watchdog and call that guy out because he was selling fake cards? Yes. Guys that are selling fake, fake PSA slabs, or guys that are doing,
Right, and you can use that as education, so
Yeah.
you know, like your viewers won't be a victim of that.
Guys that trace over autographs, guys that switch out patches in the cards. Yes, those things you call out.
You can make good educational videos out of that.
Yes, but calling out other content creators because of cards that they collect or cards that they talk about or sales that they do or things like that, I think that's bullshit. I think that's gotcha content and that's trash. And that's what I talk about. That's what like a big concern of mine is now, is that if they flood the internet with this trash, people see that and they think that that's the standard in the hobby. That is the standard practice in the hobby. And that's not the face that we want to put out there for people when they look at us.
And do these people actually enjoy the hobby, or are they trying to sabotage the hobby?
I don't know. I don't know what their motivations are. I think their motivations is they want to be famous. They want recognition.
They want clicks,
right? They want people to know who they are, and they want a certain status within the hobby where people look at them as like, hey, that's the guy that makes all those videos that calls people out. Like they want to be like a reporter or something like that. And that's what that's what their real goal is, right? They want the status of being the guy that calls people out or whatever it is. But I just think that a lot of that is the reason that they make that content is misguided. They're trying to like cause a lot of drama with a lot of people for the sake of becoming famous, right? And it causes a lot of problems, is what I'm saying.
Well, I think we're in an era of gotcha content on TV and social media.
Yeah, and it's stupid. It's really stupid. It's trash, and that's why for me, I've kind of taken the position of I try to flood. I try to use my content to overshadow all that trash gotcha content. For every piece of content of gotcha content that's on there on the internet, I'll put out 10 pieces. And I'll push it all the way down on the suggestion list on Instagram and YouTube, just to try to like overshadow it. That's my way of dealing with it, right? But I do think that it is a good point. We don't want we don't want those people to represent us. We don't want people when the first thing that they look up in the hobby is, oh, this guy is a terrible person. This guy or this card lost a lot of value. There's this guy. I'm not going to call him out because I don't think that he's really bad, but I see that he makes this content all the time, and I think it's annoying. Where he'll take a card and he'll say, "Oh my God, this Luka card last year sold for $150,000, and guess what? It just sold last week for $20,000. That represents an 80% loss." $130,000 lost. What is going on? And I'm just thinking to myself, man, that is like, we get it. Okay. The market is down from where it was a couple years ago. And people that paid up a lot of money for those cards, they're taking losses now for whatever reason. But, you don't need to make it like the highlight of everybody's week to watch these things, right? We get it. We get it. And all those people that are really affected by that kind of stuff, are the people that were buying those cards back then. But a lot of new people have come into the hobby since then. So that they don't necessarily, that stuff is not applicable to them. And all it does is just kind of create uncertainty within the hobby of people where they want to put their money and things like that. You know what I mean? And I think that also, you could say that type of trend happened in many different markets. Luxury watches, Bitcoin, NFTs, other type of collectibles, comic books, things like that. So it's just kind of like highlighting these really negative aspects of the hobby that I think just kind of like, I don't know, just trying to put just trying to be like a buzzkill on a lot of people. You know what I mean? So anyways, I thought that was really interesting post that he made about that. That kind of sparked conversation and debate within the hobby. Some people agree with me, some people don't, but that's just my opinion.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's always going to be that way.
Yes. Okay. So we got through that. Anything you want to show off before we get into comments?
Sure, Dean. I just picked this up. I actually got this from Bleecker Street Trading on an auction on this one. It is the first atomic refractor of Andre the Giant,
Wow.
2014.
Wow.
PSA 10. Here's a big one. I got this from France. I thought this was cool because I like music. I like Britney. I love Snoop Dogg. So I got this type one here of Britney and Snoop Dogg together in a music video from 2004.
That's Snoop Dogg? Oh, wow. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything on the back?
No, nothing except the date and stuff, the portrait. So I'm going to get that graded. Yeah, Britney's definitely on some Apple boxes because I know she's not that tall as Snoop Dogg, and Snoop Dogg's not that short.
Yeah, he's 5.
And then let's see here. I'm going to show you this one. I love this one, and I'll show you the back here too. Here is a type one of Steven Spielberg with Richard Zanuck, famous movie producer from the 70s, on the set of Jaws.
Interesting.
You can see right here.
I like that.
Yeah.
I love it when they have
information.
Yeah.
And I love Steven Spielberg. And then you're gonna find this pretty cool. Here is a press photo litho, which means it's in color usually, because they have the normal ones, the black and white ones of these from Star Wars, and this is from the original one, A New Hope from 77, and this is a litho of Leia and C-3PO. And the reason because it'll say litho right down here.
Are you gonna?
That means it's color version of it. What's that?
You're gonna send those to get slabbed?
I'd like to. Yes.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It will look nicer for sure.
Yes, of course it would. Yes.
Yeah.
I wish that other one could fit. This other one, I few of the ones that are 8x10 that are a little bigger. They're more like 9 or 10 by 11, 12. I don't know where you can find top loaders for that. Do you know?
Oh, they make top loaders. You can get them on Amazon for that.
You can, because I couldn't find any of those sizes. If anybody knows of any, please send me links on Instagram or something.
So one disappointing thing that I learned about these photos is
what's that?
The ones that are bigger than 8x11.
Yeah.
They don't make a slab for that for PSA.
Oh, they don't. So what happens?
They authenticate them and they give you a letter, but they don't slap.
Oh, really? So it has to be an 8x10. Good to know.
Andre the Giant photo, it's like 11x14, and they can't slab it. So now I've got this gigantic photo that what am I going to do with it? You know what I mean? So that's just one thing I kind of learned.
So even if it's just an inch more, if it's the 9x11, they can't slab it.
Yes.
Oh, goodness gracious. That sucks because I sent a few of those Taylor Swift rookie headshots to be slabbed, and they're just a little I think they are like 9x11, just an inch bigger than normal by 10s. Dang it! I wanted those babies slabbed. So
they're gonna give you a letter for it, but so I wonder, would it be taboo to trim those? Should you trim the type 1 photos? Is that allowed so that it fits in the slab?
Oh, good question.
Yeah, because I got that Tupac letter that
they're not graded; they're just authenticated.
I got the Tupac letter, and the Tupac letter is on a piece of cardboard and laminated to it, but it's exactly 8.5 by 11. So if it doesn't fit, I want to trim it, right? Because I need to have that thing slabbed.
Yeah, right.
I mean, so I don't know. That might be interesting. That might be something that we start. We start trimming photos.
Good suggestion, man.
I think it'd be okay because people cut photos and they cut autos and they slab them sometimes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like index cards and things like that. So I think you're not grading it or anything like that.
What can you take it to get it perfectly cut?
You just go to Kinko's. Kinko's, they have a slicer machine.
Slicer.
Like that.
I'm still terrible at it.
You can practice.
Okay.
But you can do it that way.
Okay, I'm gonna have to do that then.
Anyways, anything else? I got a couple things to show off.
That's about it for right now.
Okay, so I got 2 things back being graded. Well, first of all, I'm not going to show off my big hits here, but I've been opening these Pokemon 151 boxes I don't open a lot of Pokemon stuff, but this is a really attractive set to me. So I got a couple of these boxes. I've been opening those up, and I pulled a really cool card here. Let me see if I can find it. It is called, it's the Secret Art Rare Mew card, which is this one. It's like the third best card in the set. And it has,
that's pretty cool.
It has, oh, hold on.
Look at Mew.
It's gone. Mommy is gone.
No, mommy's upstairs. Go upstairs. Okay.
Dan's
This
daughter.
card has a cool feature. It has a sunset feature. So you see right there, if I tilt it,
Right.
it makes it like the sun is rising.
Yeah, we can definitely see it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, well, you really see it now.
So like the sun is there, and then boom.
Oh wow. Like, yes. The rays just explode.
Yeah. So they have this like insert set in here. They call them art rares, where they make these like little cool portrait cards, and it's like a little city or something like that. Here's another one.
Yeah, I like it.
Here's
There's a lot
a
of detail to it.
Bulbasaur. So they don't look like traditional Pokemon cards.
And what year is this?
This is the new one. This just came out this
Oh,
year.
it just came out.
Let me see if I can find. I got the Pikachu one in here too. I'll just show that off real quick here. Where is it? Ah, here's it is. Okay, so that's pretty cool. You know, I like this.
Those are so cool. There's a lot of stuff going on in them.
Yeah. So I've been opening that. I got that, but I did get 2 cards back from PSA. One here is I got kicked in. I feel like I got kicked in the balls twice on this one. This is a Hugh Jackman 2000.
That's a great grade, though.
It's a 9.9.
Yeah,
Why can't they give me a 9.10 or a 10.10? You know?
yeah, I know, but man, those cards do not grade well.
Okay,
I will tell you that right now. That's a pretty impressive grade. Did you see the pop report on that one?
No, I haven't checked. I just got it back today, but
Yeah, I think that's pretty good, Dan.
I mean, on 9 on the auto.
Most of those times, those come back 8s.
So I know how they grade autos now, basically. So this looks like a clean auto.
I feel like that grade should be a 10, though. I do agree.
It's
They're pretty hard on the grade.
it's centered. There's no smudging, but
No,
if you look at like right here, like his little streak when he goes this way with the streak,
when he does the little fancy, yes.
yeah, he slightly lifts it up a little bit where it's like slightly less blue. So slightly less ink on that. So that's why they gave me
And
like
just
a 9.
because of that, you get a 9.
Yeah, so they're
That
very,
little detail right there.
they're very stickler. And I'm thinking like
It's very stickler.
to me, these Hugh Jackman autos are going to be huge because for a huge generation of people, this is Wolverine for a lot of people, right? Because he played Wolverine in all the X-Men movies, more movies than any other superhero currently in the last.
Yeah, and he's crossed over to all the other movies.
Right? For the last 23 years, he's been Wolverine. And now he's coming back again as Daredevil. So a big generation of people watched him and know him as Wolverine. And I think that they'll want these autos someday, right?
Yeah,
So
that's
that's
Hugh Jackman.
The other one I got, they did me a solid on this one. I think they kicked me in the balls on this one. So they said, you know what, we'll do him a solid. We owe him on this one. And I got my
Hilarious. Oh my goodness.
This is my gold refractor, Gem Mint 10, Auto 10, and
Nice.
this happens to be, I don't know if you can see it there. This is
I see it on the bottom corner right there. It's the alpha.
yeah,
1 of 10.
there.
1 of 50, sorry.
1 of 50 alpha. So this is like kind of a special card to me now. 10-10 alpha, pop 1. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful card.
It is, Dan. Congratulations.
In the gold slab mag. Check that out. So
Woo.
got that. Okay. So we got to that's our Mount Day stuff. Anything else? There's really nothing else for me to show off here. Just one thing for fun. I'll just show this for fun because I think it's really
Okay,
cool.
show us some fun.
It's a Ninja
Oh,
Turtle
wow.
figure, a NECA. It's a giant frog. I'm not going to explain to you the character. If you know, you know. But that's what he looks like there. Pretty cool thing. I got this at Target. So you know me.
Oh my goodness.
Love to buy toys. Okay, so let's get into the comments here.
Okay, and I just want to know, let everybody know if y'all haven't seen it. I saw a funny ass movie Friday. Don't take your kids to see it. It's Jennifer Lawrence and No Hard Feelings. The movie was laugh out loud funny. It was, oh my gosh, I was in tears crying. It was a packed house. Everybody else was in tears. I think that movie's going to have a lot of legs this summer. It's going to be, counter programmed to all the, superhero movies and stuff. But if you haven't seen that movie, go see it at the theater. It's hilarious.
All right. Okay. So let's get into our first comments here.
Let's do it, Dan. Carlos, Rise and Shine Curator Army, ready for another great episode. Yes, it is, Carlos. Carlos again, Nick Fury, Secret Invasion. Got to see it tonight. Looks like fire. It is. It's started off pretty good.
I saw it last week, and I like it. I like these spy thrillers set in the Marvel universe. I liked how they're not having all the superheroes go in there and do crazy superhero things. It's very grounded, and it's a suspense. It's kind of like Winter Soldier. Mm-hmm. So, I'm all for the show here.
Mm-hmm. It took for a while to get my girlfriend to convince her to watch it with me. She didn't want to watch it, but now she is. Carlos, great curator as Nick Fury, and Merlin as shape-shifting squirrel. That's right. Ed Ram, good evening, fellas. What's up, buddy? Adrian, CV Sports Cards. What's up, guys? What's up, Adrian? You're going to be at Premiere this weekend? What are you doing? Mark the Collector. Happy Tuesday, party people. What's up, Mark? Mark, did you watch Forbidden Door this past weekend? Carlos, belt is awesome. Yeah, that is the Veriswap belt. Again, try to get into the trades with Veriswap. Download the app, and you could win this gorgeous belt that Dan is holding right now.
You want to take this from me? You want to beat the champ, huh? You got to sign up for Veriswap and get as many trades as you can until July 26th, okay? Mm-hmm. And if nobody beats me, nobody beats my record, then this is staying with me.
Oh, it is, huh? Is that how it works?
No, somebody's going to get it.
Okay.
I actually haven't made any trades.
Dad's going to be sad to lose it.
Champion for now. Let's see here.
Have you seen Spider-Verse yet? Spider-Man?
Not yet.
You got to go see it, man. It's great. Mark the Collector. The Rock ends tomorrow, baby. Yes, we will be on it, guys. Golden Hour. It's going to be on at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific. Same bat time, same bat channel. So come back in here. Join us again tomorrow. Carlos, I think it will sell for $20,000 with buyer premium. He's talking about the Rock 1-of-1. Carlos, I agree with Dan. It's definitely a buyer's market out there right now. So, guys, get on it. Let's get on these auctions tomorrow on Goldin.
People talking about breakers right now.
I know. I see it. You got them started. Carlos, unfortunately, some bad breakers not sending the cards. People have won, etc. I read some articles. So, yeah. So then what do you do, Dan? If you don't get your cards from that breaker, what happens?
I think.
What should they do?
There should be like a terms of service or something like that. They should get their money back, basically. Get their money back and then just, don't do business with that breaker anymore. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Imagine like you live in a community and somebody opens a shop where they deliver you food and you order food and you don't get it for whatever reason. You get your money back and then you write a bad review or something like that and you don't do business with them. Right.
And we need like a Yelp version, like an app version that's like Yelp for breakers. So you can see the reviews and see any kind of comments regarding that breaker.
I don't know how breakers, it seems like everybody gets their own group of customers and then they just start breaking and they just have their group of customers. I don't know. It just seems weird to me how everything is set up. Plus Whatnot makes it very easy. Some of these apps like Whatnot make it
they do it on Whatnot too.
For people to start breaking things like that, but I don't know. Let's see here.
Adrian says, with eBay shutting down breaking soon and Fanatics taking over breaking soon, it's going to be extinct if you're a small timer breaker, that is. So what is it? eBay is not going to be allowed to, you're not going to be allowed to sell breaks.
Yeah, I haven't looked into that.
That's what a lot of our friends do. They sell that spot or that player or that wrestler. They sell that on eBay, and then that's how they get the breaks going once all those are sold.
Yeah. I just think that's a weird practice. I don't know. I never understood how break-in works, or how people started those businesses, but I think it's just too commonplace right now. And here's the thing about breakers. Okay, I think a lot of people that start these breaking businesses, they have good intentions. They're entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
But what they do is they hire people to do the breaks. They hire like people at minimum wage or kids, out of high school or college.
Yeah, that's what Daps does.
And these people are what is causing the problem. These breakers are the ones that are stealing cards or whatever, right? For whatever reason. So it's not the main business owner. It's not the guy whose name is on the face place. It's his employee. So there probably should be some type of I don't know what.
But isn't there like proof in the video? You see them stealing, like, hey, dude, what happened to that person's Trevor Lawrence rookie card, RPA?
Well, I don't know what happened. Like, I don't know the mechanics of everything like that, but I think that's what's happening is like the employees of the breakers are the ones that are causing a lot of problems. So there probably has to be more of a thorough vetting process or hiring process. I mean, like Burbank sports cards, for example.
Okay.
They were also in the news recently because they had an employee who worked for customer service, and he stole $80,000 worth of cards from Burbank. And they caught him and he got arrested for it, right? And that's Burbank sports cards. They've got a great system in place. They've got great hiring practices, and even they made a bad hire, and some dude stole these cards from them. It's crazy to me,
That's terrible, man.
Yeah. But here's another thing. Like, here's another thing that I just don't understand. I don't understand the life choices some people are making within the hobby, where they're stealing cards, to try to make some money or whatever, and it's having real consequences where they go to jail, they get arrested or whatever, things like that. People that rob hobby stores, I just don't understand why people do that kind of stuff within the hobby. It's like there's easier things that you can steal to make money. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's like, if you're going to steal something, if you're going to go to the trouble of stealing something, steal something that has more value outside of the industry. You know what I mean? Like, like if you steal things in the hobby, it can be tracked. If it's a card, it can be tracked. If you steal wax, everybody knows each other. You're not going to be able to offload it, So it's weird when you hear these stories of people breaking into shops or stealing at card shows, and they always get caught. It's just like, what kind of life choices are these people making? You know what I mean? And I feel like part of that has to do with greed, because the hobby is so focused on money,
of course,
that they view these items as if they're money. But outside of the hobby, it's not, right? It's not. It's weird. It's like a year ago when we were at the Dallas show, and that guy was walking around selling fake Michael Jordan rookies. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
He got caught. He had done that a couple months before. He got away with it, or he had stolen some cards or something like that, and he came back to the same show to offload those cards. That's
okay. We never said they were the smartest batch of the bunch.
but that's my point, is he can't go anywhere else to offload the cards. I mean, he probably could have, but like the most convenient thing for him to do would to go back to the same show that he was at. We see this all the time. We see people steal
because
cards.
He wants that turnover right away. Yeah. He wants instant money.
We see people steal cards at shows, and then they try to sell it to another dealer. But what the dealers do is they send a message to everybody: look for these cards. And if a dealer sees that card, he can trap that guy there, and then he gets arrested. We see that all the time. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's just so stupid to me. But anyways, don't get me started on it.
Or they've already got him on surveillance. Almost everybody has everybody on surveillance now. Emmanuel, you lose more than when you win. When you enter breaks, 100% gambling. Parents, watch your kids. Agree, Emmanuel. Carlos, some people like the breaks for the rush of possibly getting hit hard. I'm sure it's just like anything, just like any kind of gambling.
That's what it is, right? That's what it is. And I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know if we should be mimicking that type of high in the hobby. And here's another thing I saw, okay, that upset me. I didn't want to, when I see things on Instagram, when I see people post things on Instagram,
right.
I'm not the type of guy that comment my disapproval. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I don't.
no?
You know, I'm not the guy that writes like a long comment saying, "Oh, you suck" or whatever, right? Unless they call me out. But you know why I don't do that?
Why?
Because I have a podcast, and on the
Ah.
podcast, I get to talk as much shit as I want. So they're kind of a friend of mine, so I don't want to make too much light of this, but the Collect apps, they had a post of this kid who it was a stage thing, totally staged, right? But the kid starts off like this, and they say, "Hey, what's wrong?" And he's like, "Oh, I didn't pull any hits from this pack." Well, don't worry, here's some more packs for you to open, and then they pull something good, and they have a feel good time, right?
Okay.
The post is meant to be all harmless, good fun, good nature, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, when I see that, I'm thinking to myself, okay, this little kid opened a pack of cards and he didn't pull any perceived hits, so he's disappointed. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like when I was a kid, I was happy to open any pack, and I would collect this. I would collect the cards, and I would have, I would build a set around it. That's what collecting is. That's what the hobby is. But now, it's different for me now as an adult. When I open a pack of cards, obviously I want to pull a hit because I want to get a card, grade it, make some money. But I don't know if kids should also think that way too. So, I just kind of looked at that post and I was like, oh no, that's not great. But I'm not gonna. I know it was like a stage thing, but that's kind of like to my point that the emphasis is on the wrong thing right now in terms of ripping cards. The emphasis is open this pack of cards and you might pull out a card that's worth $10,000, and then you can flip it and make money. That's what
there's a dollar sign in front of it.
Yes, just like with Magic the Gathering right now, that one of one Lord of the Rings ring, it's got $1 million bounty on it. People are going crazy. People are ripping these cards, which is so stupid because now that information has come out that the card is not even in the packs that people are trying to rip.
Oh,
yeah. So people supposedly it came out of a collector booster box.
Okay.
And the booster boxes are on sale for like almost $500. A booster box.
Oh my
which is
gosh.
double the price of what these things normally cost.
Right.
But now they're saying that the card is not going to be in those booster boxes. It's going to be in like a collector's box, and it's going to be.
So you just wasted all your money for nothing.
Yes. So, and what? Everybody that rips every pack is going to be disappointed? I don't know. Like I think that.
Well, if that's all that we're looking for, definitely.
And I don't know. I just feel like the emphasis should be on you're ripping these cards. You're trying to pull, cool cards to put together a set, or you collect your favorite player or whatever it is, and then that's it. It shouldn't be, oh, I'm trying to pull a card that's going to pay for the box, essentially. Anyways.
Distiller 13, spicy curator. Yeah, he is spicy, all right. When he's on.
I had a drink earlier tonight, guys, so I was feeling spicy today. That's why.
Was there jalapeno in it, Dan?
Yeah, that's why you're getting a little bit. It's spiced rum, actually.
Oh, spiced
You're
rum.
getting a little bit more commentary tonight for me than usual.
Mark the Collector. Breaks are definitely like a slot machine. Jack Potter, the one of ones, definitely. Carlos, strongly agree. Regulate the bigger companies, not the individuals. Distiller 13, CCC, Curator Country Club. Welcome. This is the country club right there behind me.
I'll share a dream of mine that I have in the back of my mind. It's not something I'm going to do anytime soon, but I have in the back of my mind that I want to open a pop culture art gallery of collectibles, a collectible art gallery.
Okay.
So just like any art gallery that you would see in like LA where people have paintings and stuff, I want to do it for collectibles. I want to have uncut sheets, cards.
He wants to be a real curator.
Toys, yeah, and I'm going to call it the Great Curators Gallery, or something like that. So that's always in the back of my mind. I have that in there, but it would be more like a collector's room than anything. I'd have to figure out how to actually make it a business rather than having it be like a big man cave that I'm paying rent on.
Right.
Every month. But it's something that I think it's just one of those dreams that I have. Maybe like one day when I retire, I'll open this gallery for fun. And I'll just have it just like how a lot of old people, they have like antique shops and it's just all the junk that they buy. I'm probably going to be like that someday.
I think you already are.
Yeah.
Carlos, a great curator for president. Oh my goodness.
I'll be president of the hobby, guys. I've been
Oh,
trying
Lord.
to get on the board, the National Sports Card Convention board. I was telling our friend Donald, I was like, Donald, come on, get me on there, man, because Donald's trying to get on the board position. So I was
Okay.
like, let me in there. Get some diversity on the board here, you know. So maybe one
Well,
day.
we had the future president next to us last year.
Yeah.
Who knows who'll be beside us this time?
Get some diversity, get a little fresh blood on the board, and then let me shake things up a little bit.
Andrew, yes, a lot of people get scammed in the hobby, which is why it should be regulated. There are no consequences for a dealer at a card show selling a fake.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I don't know. It's just a very slippery slope to that, because sometimes they don't even know it's a fake, you know. And that's why we have PSA. We have these grading companies, because they're supposed to authenticate these cards. But
Right.
now people are faking the slab. So like, what do you know? You know, how
That's
do you
even
really know
scarier.
anything is true? I don't think people at card shows should be regulated at all. I think that maybe a consequence would be that if you were found to be doing something that you're not supposed to be doing, first of all, you'd have to be proven that.
Mhm.
There has to be a due process to prove that anybody did anything, you know, wrong. But then, you know, I think the consequence is you get banned. You get banned from setting up at shows. People don't do business with you, you know, things like that. But we still know that there are people that get caught doing bad things, and they're still operating within the hobby to some extent. So I don't know. It's a difficult problem to solve.
Adrian's CV Sports Cards, Mealy Pops. He's talking about the Logan Paul
Yeah. So
Pokemon scandal.
there were two guys. There was Mealy Pops, who actually refunded him the money. Okay. I still see him every once in a while at shows. Not so much anymore, but I still see him around. And the other guy, I remember his name is Card Kahuna, I think.
Yes.
Kahuna. Yes.
Card Kahuna. The big kahuna. Okay, Dan. Andrew, I wish the National would come to New York, Philly, or even DC. Nothing wrong with Chicago, just far away from me. Well, get on a plane, dude. We're flying all the way from LA.
I would not.
You're a lot closer than me.
If it was in Chicago, I mean, if it was in New York, or I would not want to go. To be honest.
Why?
Because it's far for us. You know, it's halfway. It's all the way on the. It's
one big city. It's just a direct flight, Dan, for us though.
Going to Atlantic City, plus, you know, where in New York are they going to hold it where it's not going to be crazy? You know, where it's going to be easy to get to, and not crazy expensive. So I wouldn't want to do that. I mean, DC probably not the same. You know, it has to be centrally located. Is what I think it should be. You know, I think it should be like in Texas or Chicago is fine. Selfishly, I'd say California, you know, but you know,
I remember when it was in Anaheim.
Yeah.
Back in the day. They had it in Atlanta one year too when I graduated college. Carlos, Merlin, who's on your shirt? Looks like a wrestler named Dusty Rhodes. Yes, it is. Dusty is on a skateboard. It's from a band from North Carolina, Future Islands, who I love a lot. So I saw them in concert. So I love the shirt. I saw Dusty on it, so I bought it. Global, good day there, legends. I guess Global is from Australia.
Yes.
Mark the Collector, one day I want to set up next to you guys at the National. Mark, get it going on, buddy. Start setting up, buddy. Carlos, authorized dealers are the best bet for luxury watches.
You know, I've heard that like luxury watch dealers, authorized dealers, they have this weird vetting system where you go into their store and you're not allowed to buy the thing that you want. You have to first buy something and build a relationship with them, and then they will offer you something later on, and you build like a book. You build up your purchases with them to the point where then they give you the watch that you really want. So you got to buy a bunch of other stuff that you don't necessarily want. Show them that you're a loyal customer and that you'll spend money, and then you get the watch that you want.
This is the way.
I mean, that's
of
what I've heard.
of the luxury watch world.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. So, when I hear stuff like that, that doesn't make me want to enter that market.
That sounds really odd. That's interesting. I have to do some research on that. I'm intrigued. Definitely. Andrew, some of these YouTubers must be disappointed with Dan. Doesn't post videos more often. They would have a lot more clickbait videos to make.
Well, the difference between what I do now versus like a year ago is I used to make those informational videos, which are like 10 to 20 minutes long.
Right.
Very easy for them to watch it over and over again and dissect it.
Mm-hmm.
Now I do these long form podcasts and they got to sit here for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and they got to listen to every part to try to get a piece of information to make a video on. So I made it more difficult for them that way. That's probably why they don't talk about me as much.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Long form content here. Andrew, a nice Andre card, Merlin. Thank you so much, Andrew. I've been looking for this one since it's the first X fractor or atomic refractor, that is. Andrew, grading autographs is kind of strange. I don't know what guidelines are used to determine the signature on a 1 to 10 scale.
Yeah, it's weird, to be honest. Like, and unless you get a 10, it's almost worse to grade it that way. Like, if I knew that this was going to get a 9, I wouldn't have graded it. I would have just graded it just a card, and I'd have a 9.
Really?
Auto, yeah. But now I've got this 9. It's like, ugh. I might just change it. I might just go back to them.
You think it hurts that much?
I think
for a 9.9. I can understand an 8. There's nothing worse though when you get it come back an 8.
Yeah, I think,
and it looks like a 10.
I think people are going to use it, and they're going to beat me up on it. Use it to beat me up on the price.
Have you ever seen like a grade 3 or 4?
No.
That'd be awful. Mark the Collector, yeah, Forbidden Door was crazy. Yeah, definitely one of the best PLEs or pay-per-views of the year. Mark the Collector, thoughts on Money in the Bank? Can't wait. I can't wait either, and it's going to be early. I forgot about it. It's in London at the O2 Arena, and it'll be 3 o'clock Eastern time, which means 12 o'clock over here. I'll actually be at the Hollywood show, chilling with William Shatner, so I'm gonna have to watch it that night on the replay. Dan, you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. The only matches I care about are the Money in the Bank matches and the Bloodline match, the Civil War, which by the way, is such an awesome turn of events. How the Bloodline has turned into a Civil War. I love that aspect.
Right.
But one thing I want to talk about Money in the Bank real quick here.
Okay, what is it?
Everybody is so high on LA Knight all of a sudden.
Yes.
And I'm annoyed by the guy. I don't like him.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Okay, I think he's a knockoff of The Rock and Stone Cold. You know, in his mannerisms, in the way he dresses, in his catchphrases,
the way he walks.
Nah. What does that sound like? That sounds like Steve Austin when he goes, you know, or when he wears the vest like Austin, and then his mannerisms are like The Rock. The way he talks is like The Rock. I just feel like he's a knockoff. He's not original, you know.
Well, they said it's going to be hard to push him because he's 40,
and he's older. You know, I'm sure they can push him. He still looks great.
Yeah,
for what he is, but I don't know.
A lot of these guys wrestle till they're 50 now.
Yeah, I don't know how he got so over all of a sudden. It's crazy. But now they're projecting him to win Money in the Bank, and it's just like so weird.
You think so over Logan Paul?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why Logan Paul would win Money in the Bank at all. Logan Paul is good. You know what I mean? If he had more of a full-time schedule, then I could get behind Logan Paul. Okay. But I just don't like the part-timers that come in and out. But he's good. He's a crazy, crazy good athlete.
Do you think it's going to be one of those two then? Or will it be Damian Priest?
I think it's going to be LA Knight. Yeah. I think Damian Priest would be cool though. But
I could see something to be Damian Priest, and then Finn Balor wins the world title against Seth Rollins, and Damian Priest comes in and cashes it in and beats Finn Balor, and then there's a whole Civil War and the Judgment Day.
Why did they have to do that? The Judgment Day is great. Why do they have to break it up?
I know, but they've already started setting that up.
You know, like
You see that already because Damien's starting to get
long.
Damien's starting to want to wrestle clean now.
This is just like when the Hurt business was over and they broke it up after a few months. Like they gotta let a faction
I didn't like that either.
go. You know, just like with the Bloodline, they let it grow, and now when they have the Civil War, it means something. But for the Judgment Day, they've only been around for, I don't know, a year, not even that.
About a year, yep.
Yeah, you know, like they got a good thing going. Rhea's champion. Dom is the most hated person in WWE right now.
Oh my God, he was getting booed so much last night.
Damian Priest is starting to get over with people. So, you know,
yeah, especially after the Bad Bunny match.
Yeah, we don't need to break out. We need factions. Okay. Just like AEW has their factions, the WWE needs their faction. They should bring back the Hurt business. They should, you know,
they have kind of brought it back, but
you know,
they're not that good.
They need to push what do you call it? The OC. They need to push the OC a little bit more. We need factions. I love the faction wars. And it proves that it can work. You know, with Judgment Day, it proves that it can work.
Mm. Carlos, are you guys coming out with any BTS merchandise? We're gonna try, man.
We should. Well, we have.
Yeah, we definitely should.
We have the Star Wars shirt, but I think we should come up with something. If anybody is a graphic designer and you guys want to help us with a logo, please. We would love your help. Let us know. We'll pay you. Merlin will pay you. Something like that.
Oh man,
okay. We'll figure something out. If you guys want the merch, we will provide the merch for you. Okay, just let us know.
Mark the Collector, LA Knight for the win, baby. He's like an Attitude Era character. That's why people like him. That's very true, Mark. Very true. Oh, Flippin' Steve is in the house. By WrestleMania, Solo Sikoa will turn on Roman and be pushed as the next babyface champion. That could happen. I've invested in a lot of Solo Sikoa cards. That's for sure.
I don't know. I don't know if I would like that. I would like to see Jimmy take the champion,
really?
Roman, and be pushed as a singles guy and have his brother Jay there. Wait, is it Jimmy or Jay?
Yeah. That's Jay. Jimmy and Jay.
Yeah. I would have Jay be like his right-hand man, right? And just have him go on his run for a few months and, you know, be the new champion and let Roman take a vacation, and then Roman comes back and then reforms the bloodline, and they're like a babyface faction.
Okay.
But anyways, okay, so that's our last comment there. So we'll go ahead and wrap this up. We're a little bit over our usual time here.
Mm-hmm.
Merlin, go ahead and plug away.
Yeah, check me out on Merleworld Cards. I am on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. So if you're at one of the curator armies who's not part of the Merlin Maniacs, then join today and get your grandmother, your aunt, and uncle. Also, I will be at the Hollywood show with the show locator this weekend, Friday and Saturday at the Marriott at the Burbank Airport. So come by, say hello. I think they're having a Star Trek reunion. They're having a Saturday Night Fever reunion. Flippin' Steve, you would love this. Stacy Q will be there signing autographs. I know Flippin' Steve's a big Stacy Q. He loves Two of Hearts because they beat us one.
Okay, very awesome.
So a lot of cool autographs. I'm going to bring a lot of my type 1s and a lot of entertainment stuff. It's going to be an experiment, and I just want to be there for the experience. So I'll be shooting some content while I'm there as well.
Yeah, maybe I can come hang out with you.
Yeah, come hang out with me, curator.
Saturday, and then tell them about the show tomorrow.
Yes, we got the Golden Hour, same bat time, same bat channel. That means it's at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. So come back to this channel, join Curator and I both, and we'll be highlighting the Goldin Auction items that have ended this past week and some that will be ending, why we are on the show, which is the most exciting because we see some of the coolest items ever. And we'll discuss also what will be coming up for the week. And we follow all the stuff. It's actually a lot of fun to watch. It got me really excited, and you get really pumped, and you kind of actually want to start bidding on stuff yourself, which you see the curators always do. So guys, tune in and try to outbid the curator on some of these items.
Right. So that
That
wraps
doesn't want
it
me
up,
to say
guys.
it, but it's a buyer's market. Like,
Yeah.
so come do it.
So that wraps it up for us, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out.
Oh, well, forgot, Dan, one more thing. I want to congratulate Mark the Collector on winning the $100 Golden Hour
Right, Mark.
for this past week.
Finally, Mark wins one. All right. So remember to enter that giveaway tomorrow, guys, so that you can win $100 too. Thank you guys for hanging out with us for another week.
Oh, and guys, make an announcement. We're not going to be on next week.
Right. Oh, that's right. Next
Okay.
week is 4th of July, guys. So we're gonna take a much needed week off for you and take a break, but we will be back the following week. So if you, I don't know, well, we will be doing a Golden Hour episode next week, I think.
Yeah, because that'll be on Wednesday.
Yeah, stay tuned for that. But anyways, thank you guys so much for listening to the best podcast in the hobby.
That's right.
That most people don't listen to. Well, then we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.